class. Today we're going to review our homework from Wednesday night, which was talking about the surface area of prisms and cylinders. Then we'll watch a separate video where we explain the surface area of pyramids and cones. So first there were two answers that were even. Number two, there are two circles and one rectangle that make up the net of a cylinder. And then question 30 was C. That was talking about the surface area of a 2-inch cube, a 2-foot cube. Okay, so now we're going to kind of go through the problems. Question 3 just asks you to make a net for a prism. This is a rectangular prism. So what you notice that it was looking like a box. So what you're going to do is you're going to kind of fold this piece down, fold that piece up, and then around would be these ones around here. Okay. Question 7 talked about we had to first draw a net for the surface area of this triangular prism. So I did that already, and now we need to find the area. So we have 5 faces, 2 of which are the same. Those are the bases. So if we want to write it out with our formula, that would be 2b plus the perimeter times the height. The base has an area of 1/2 times 21 times 12. The perimeter of the base is 21 plus 20 plus 13. So that would be 54 times the height of all 3 of those rectangles. Nice thing that 2 times 12 is 1. So then we just have 21 times 12, which is 252, plus 54 times 15, 810, and then we add them up, and we get 1,062 feet squared. And if you would prefer, instead of using this formula, you can just think about adding up the area of all 5 faces. Okay, moving on to question 11. Question 11, they give us this information, but then want us to try to figure out what's going on to find the surface area. So I wrote out the formula of surface area equals 2 times the base area plus the perimeter times the height. So from there, I would do 2 times 45 plus 30 times 2.8. So I get 90 plus 84. So then our answer for question 11 should be 174 yards squared. Next, we had the net for this cylinder. I already drew the net. Then we have to use the net to find the surface area. Okay, so again we go with our formula, which is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Notice that they gave you the diameter, so that's one thing you have to watch out for. So our radius would be 7. Radius still 7, and the height is 6. Then we're going to take out our calculator, and we're going to multiply the first part, 307.72. We're going to multiply this second part, which is 263.76, and then we'll add them up. And I'm guessing, oh, they rounded to nearest tenth. Now, if I'm using 3.14 instead of the pi button, I'm getting this. So rounded to the nearest tenth, I would get that. And what the book rounded to was that. Either answer would be okay. Next, we move on to question 23, where they're just asking for the lateral surface area, which is everything but the bases. Okay, so just the lateral area. So with this, we have the perimeter of the base times the height. So for the lateral area, all we do is we just multiply 34 times 6, and that's where the 204 centimeters squared comes in. So they're showing you that the perimeter of the base is this 34. The height is 6. So lateral area is everything but the bases. Okay, next we go to question 25. 25 is an interesting one because they ask you to figure out what's wrong. So we started with the surface area formula, but what you hopefully noticed right off the bat, they actually didn't ask for that. They wanted the lateral area. So what we have to remember is, what do we need to eliminate to just get the lateral area? The lateral area of a cylinder would just be 2 pi RH. So that's why the answer is just 131.8, and our units are inches squared. So that is just this part here, not the bases, because they just asked for lateral area. So that was our mistake. Next, we talk about question 30, which is talking about a cube, which is 2 feet by 2 feet. So the area of each of these 6 faces would be 4 feet squared, and we multiply that by 6, and we get 24 feet squared. And then the last one is talking about putting food into fondue. There are 2 types. There's a cube and there's a cylinder. So what I did with the cube was, each of these individual cubes has a surface area of 1, and there are 6 faces. So 1 times 6, 6 centimeters squared. The cylinder is a little bit more complicated, and I use this formula. Notice that if this is the diameter, that means the radius is 0.5. So when I'm doing this, I have to put in 0.5 for the radius. And then in this case, I got the cylinder was 4.71 centimeters squared. So the answer is the cube uses more fondue. Have a great